Okay, fifth graders. I think this is going to be a relatively short lesson. This is what are we doing here? This is, we're up to chapter 2, section 3, pages 54, 55, and 56. So I'm looking at, let's see here. What page is this? Looks like it's page 54. It says use the table at the right to find the total monthly cost of using the dishwasher and the DVD player. And it says use compatible numbers to estimate. And in this particular lesson, they often have us use models insofar as blocks, which, well, I don't know that we have a way to do that. And they give us some examples here. Excuse me. And down here at B, it says use place value blocks to model 0.85 plus 0.40. And then you can see what they've done over here in C, 0.85 plus 0.40. And there's 0.2 left over, and then 0.5, which would be these 5 blocks right here. And so then you get $1.25. Let's move down a little bit further here and take a look. Convince me. What does that say? Let's see. For the example above, Jesse said that the total monthly cost for using the ceiling light and the dishwasher was 0.74. Is he correct? The answer is no. He didn't count the 1 from regrouping the tenths. He did not count the 1 from regrouping. Okay. Let's move down to the next page here. Let's see what we've got here. Another example. Let's see if this one would be a help to us. You can subtract the decimals with place value blocks. And it says find 1.57 subtracting 0.89. And so here's 1.57. And to subtract 0.89, regroup the blocks and remove the 8/10. So that's going to be 10 of these rows here. So 8 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 9 hundredths. And that'd be these here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And these here equal 1 of the tenths. And so in class last year, I had students draw these blocks. If it was a help, I think for some it really wasn't much of a help. Explain how to use place value blocks to find the difference between the monthly cost of using the DVD player and the dishwasher. All right, so let me put this, and you guys can copy this down. Show 0.85 with 8 long rows and 5 cubes or dots. So for example, if I wanted to draw or model 0.85, I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. and then you'd subtract 4 of those long dots. And however you want to model that, I suppose you could just X 1, 2, 3, 4 them out. And so what are you left with? You're left with, let's see here, the 5, and then 4 of those. Okay, so then in 2 through 7, it says use place value blocks to add or subtract. I'm going to say if it helps. So if you want to use place value blocks to solve these problems, you can. Or we can just do it the old-fashioned way. And let me do a few like that. So I'm going to put 1.22, and I'm going to subtract, or no, I'm adding. I'm going to add 0.34. Notice how I'm lining up the decimals. This is important. When you add or subtract, you always line up the decimals. So you can look and see right here, the 2 decimals are nicely lined up. So what's 4 plus 2? That's 6. What's 3 plus 2? That's 5. Bring the decimal straight down, and then it's 1. So the answer to number 2 there is 1 point. Actually, I'll write in something darker you can see here. 1.56. Let's do another one here. Let me do number 7. It's 2.02, and I'm adding 0.8. So I can put a 0 right there. It doesn't really matter. 0.8, and I can put another 0 there. It doesn't matter. And again, we're adding. 0 and 2 is 2. 0 and 8 is 8. Bring the decimal straight down. Always remember, line up the decimals and then just bring them straight down when you're adding or subtracting. And then 2. So the answer to that one is 2.82 for number 7. 2.82. Same thing down here in independent practice. Add or subtract, use place value blocks to help. I mean, I look at some of these here, and you don't even need place value blocks. It would just slow you down. I mean, look at number 8 here, for example. What have we got here? We have 0.1, and we're adding 0.73. Okay, well, you could just look at that and know it's going to end up being 0.83. So some of these you could just do mentally. All right, let's move down to the problem solving. How is adding 4.56 plus 2.31 similar to adding 2.31 plus 4.56? Well, in these two, there's a dollar sign, and in these two, there is not. So how are they similar? The mechanics are the same. The mechanics or the rules are the same. So in other words, if I was to ask you, how is adding 2 plus 5 the same as adding $2 plus $5? Okay, it's no different. It's no different, except that obviously you're going to put a dollar sign. All right. And I suppose I should put here. Let's see here. 1 needs a dollar sign. All right, that's an N. Almost looked like an H. Okay, write an expression that is represented by the model below. So I'm looking at number 13 here. I don't know what that little arrow represents. I'm guessing subtraction, like we're taking that away. So, so what have we got here? We have 1, and then there's, looks like a 10th left. So, well, actually, let's do the whole thing first if we're subtracting here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's probably 1.45 subtracting 3.5. No. Oh, there's just a little 1 actually that's in that dotted dashed area. So 3.1 subtracting 3. I'm sorry, it'd be 0.31. Let me undo that. 1.45 subtracting 0.31. Okay. Let's see here, 14. Without adding the decimals, tell if the sum of 0.46 and 0.25 is less or greater than 1. Explain. Well, you're going to have to be doing some adding in your head. It's less than 1. It's less than 1. Without adding the decimals. Well, I suppose they're probably looking for something to do with using a model. So if you added a model of 0.46 and 0.25, you will end up with less than a whole 1. You'd have 4 rows and 2 rows, and then 6 individual ones and 5 individual ones. All right, less than 1. I'm not going to worry about you having to explain that. 15, number stands here, estimate to decide if the sum of 314 plus 175 is more or less than 600. I'll let you estimate on your own and however you want to do that. Number 16, do you think the difference of 1.4 minus 0.95, which is almost 1, all right, is less or greater than 1? Well, if you just did that in your head, explain to me how you thought about it. All right, I think you can do that. Number 17, vocabulary, estimate 53.8 minus 27.6. Circle the compatible numbers to substitute. Oh, that would definitely be these two right here. Yeah, I would make this one 55 and make this one 25. That would make it a whole lot easier to work with. Number 18, almost done here. Gosh, I'm doing most of these for you guys. Number 18, write an expression that can be used to find the perimeter of the pool shown to the right. Okay, remember, when we're measuring the perimeter, we're measuring 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way around it, all 4 sides. That's the perimeter. You're adding them up. Number 19, each set of place value blocks below represents a decimal. So what is the sum that's adding up the decimals? Okay, so let's count. What have we got here? 1, 2, 3. I'm just counting the long ones here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 1. So it's going to be 1, okay, point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, this might be kind of confusing to you. It's 1.07. If they had 3 more blocks, 1, 2, 3, then it would be what? Then it would be 1.1. So there's 3 more blocks needed for it to move over to the 10th place, if that makes sense to you guys. All right? So it's 1.07. Explain how you found your answer. Added the blocks. And the sum was 1 whole and 7 hundredths. All right, I did most of this with you guys, so it shouldn't take you too long. I did leave some problems for you. So it's probably not that practical in some of these to use models and the place value blocks. Just remember this. That a whole block would equal 1. And then 1 row or 1 line would equal 0.1. And then 1 little block itself, if there was 10 of those, that would, if there was 10 of them, that would equal, I'll put times 10. And then I could do this here, times 10. One of those little blocks would be equal to 0.01. So if I added up all 3 of these, if I added up a block plus 1 row plus 1 little one, that would equal 1.11. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. 10 of these little ones will equal 1 row. And 10 of these rows will equal 1 whole block. Okay? All right, that's it. That's probably the most important part of the whole video right there. And I will see you guys tomorrow.